So as promised, here is a daylight view of this contraption that I've built as a field day encampment and antenna structure designed to host a loop antenna, a horizontal loop antenna, full wave, currently measured out for 20 meters. It's approximately 25 feet from pole to pole, and it extends up to about 28 feet. Those ropes that tie the sections together and determine the length of the sides are currently halved. They are designed to extend to 50 by 50, which puts it in range for a 40-meter loop, which is a real popular targeted band. 40-meter loop can easily tune up 20 meters, pretty much any other band below it, but it will not do 80 meters, 160 meters, 60 meters. It's a few bands, but that requires enormous space, 100 feet between poles. So I'm not going that far this year, but it is in the future. I'm sure I'll get there someday. So anyway, yeah, it's a $115 instant screen tent. I've got a $30 folding table and a $10 folding stool, and unknown a couple $100 in pipe and fittings and brackets and rope and guy lines and all that sort of thing here. So right now I only have a single set of guys for the 10-foot level. When I extend the masts, there's going to be a guy for the 20-foot level. That'd be here, and the 30-foot level at the top right here. I've got extra wire and bits and parts over here. This is where I normally store the 50-footers that tie the corners together. And in the future, I'm going to put some additional brackets on the very top. Right now, the very top bracket's going to hold the 20-meter/40-meter loop. But I'd like to put about 4 of them, space them about a foot or two apart, and do a 40, and then, you know, a 30, a 20, a 15 descending down. And they'll all be hanging from paracord with little plastic insulators, and then the wire, as it gets progressively smaller as it hangs down, will just sort of be like in semi-concentric, if you will, squares hanging from the middle of this thing. This right here is my 20-meter antenna right now. It's just a simple dipole. I've got myself a 1-to-1 current bailing on there with a huge toroid. I'm sure that could handle a kilowatt, but I'm only running an FT817, so I'm only putting out 5 watts, maybe 10 watts. Field day plans are just limit myself to 5 watts so I can get that point multiplier. It was really tough getting this up in my yard. It's a tight fit, trying to find 25 by 25 square. So here I'm right up in this oak, but the other sections I was able to pull off. Anyway, just to show you how sturdy it is, here is a good solid shake. You can see the other side goes flopping around. Let's see if I can hold the camera steady. But when I let go, everything stabilizes within a few seconds. So I think it's going to be very forgiving in the wind at the beach. I'm thinking about adding a second set of guy lines on the ground. I've got one here. I'm thinking about just kind of splitting the difference, putting one a little bit further over and one a little bit further over, just as a safety measure. But we'll see. These cam jams that make this possible are $9 a piece. And I only have so many stakes, but it's not outside of what I've already done. In case you couldn't see them last night, these are my original markers. This is my 22.5-foot mark point. Just a little bit of miscalculations, a little bit of inaccuracy in the ropes. Not a big deal. It just needs to be in the general area. The antenna itself is what has to be fairly precisely length, so measured. Anyway, just a quick walk through the shack. It's totally unfinished at the moment. Just got my radio set up over here. Got my solar charge controller down here. Came with the Harbor Freight special 2 years ago on Black Friday for like $100, $150. It's a 145 watt panel, 12 volt. Puts out about 14.5 in full bright sunlight, and it's awesome. I'm really glad I bought it. It's good heavy duty plastic on the outside, solid heavy glass. This contraption of PVC came with it. It's not perfect, but man, it's way more than I expected for what I paid. It's a great deal, great bargain. I looked for some more this week and they didn't have them anymore, so I don't know if they're gone or I'm just not seeing them. But if I catch it in the store again, I definitely would like to buy a second, maybe even more. It's a really good system. Anyway, I got that hooked up to an Optima Blue Top that I got out of my truck. I haven't got any charging times on that yet. I've just recently started playing with it. But as you can see, right now, running off the Blue Top and the solar panel, it's averaging at 12.2. If I pop the solar panel off, see, if I pop the Blue Top off, right now the sun is putting out about 8.5 volts. So, not really enough to operate off of. But with the battery hooked up, I'm looking at 12.2. And then quickly let me disconnect the solar, see the effect that has on it. Still 12.2. Next, I got some lighting up here. Starting to get dark. I'll start turning it on. These little fluorescents here came with the solar panel kit. They're a little hokey, kind of cool. Yeah, they work. But they're designed for these cigarette lighter adapters here. I'm not really planning on using them. Maybe I'll use them until they burn out and not replace them. But they are what they are. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and cut the video for now. And when I get some more advanced stuff done, I'll give another update. K9SPY out.